You are trying to make of the timeline run much of the faster. And you are thinking to yourself, and we are hearing you, that you are saying, oh wow, does not time go much, much quicker now? Things seem to be going so much of the fastness. But in of the reality, you've been creating this. You are desperately trying to be of the grabbing of the next moment, and some of you are trying to run away from of the past moment. So therefore you are, like you are scaling up of the mountain. You are trying desperately to get to of the top of the mountain. You are trying not to look backwards because behind you is much of the scariness. It is a long way to be of the falling. And you are desperately trying to get of the upperness. But what you are doing is you are missing of the view that is happening from where you are in this position on the climbing of the mountain. You are missing every magical of the momentness that is happening as you are being in of this state.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance with marcusbird.
Yay! Hey Eleni, great to be here. Yay.
Yay! Hello Marcus, you're in the snow at the moment.
I am. I'm away at the moment. I'm in the beautiful white water.
Oh, lovely,
Frozen water.
lovely.
So
All
yes, my happy
right.
place. So it's good.
Oh, beautiful. You
Yes.
used to be a champion snow skier
Well, that's a
amongst so
rumour.
many other
It's a
things.
rumour. Yeah. That was a past
Incredible.
life. That was some other life.
I know.
Before I started doing this.
It feels like a past life, doesn't it? When
It
it's been
does.
so long ago, when we can't even
So long
relate to
ago.
that life.
No, and there's a whole
But
different consciousness and a whole different awareness and whole different reality. So,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
But we're here
that's what
now.
it is, when you think about what I was doing like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it's not just that I
Yeah.
was doing something different. What you just said then, it's a whole different consciousness, a whole different
Totally.
awareness, a whole different
Totally.
way that we do life.
Yeah. It's
And
totally different to how you're doing it now.
yeah, if someone
Yeah.
had told you 30 years ago that you will be channeling
I would have
a
said you're
high dimensional
crazy.
being from
Yeah.
another planet, what would you
Yeah.
say?
I would have stopped talking to you. I would have gone, yeah, you're nuts. You're a loopy.
You would just
You're
go, okay,
crazy.
then
Yeah.
see you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you would. You just go, no, you're on drugs. That's ridiculous.
Oh,
Doesn't
how
make any
funny.
sense.
And yet, this is what you do
I'm a
in this
skier.
show. So
I
let's
know.
do that whenever
Yes.
you're ready.
Let's do it, and then I'll go and pretend to be a skier again. A dimensional skier. I'll go skiing with Ameed after this. So that'll be fun.
I
That'll be
love
fun.
it.
So yeah, it's funnily a story though on that. Even though it was another dimension away and I had a different consciousness, I sort of did in a way because skiing to me was always a bit of a spirit, almost like a spiritual experience because I learnt and in the end I don't ski by look, I ski by feel. So one of the things we did in training when I was with the ski team is that we used to train with our eyes closed. So they used to blindfold us
Wow.
and teach us to ski with our eyes closed, right? And what it taught me was to connect deeply into
Wow.
what I was doing, right? So not look at what I was doing, but actually be part of what I was doing. And when I'm skiing, I sort of become part of the mountain. There's no difference between me and the mountain and the slope and the snow. And so it was kind of, even though, consciously I probably wasn't fully aware of it at that time. Now looking back, I go, yeah, there was a sort of a dimension to it that was quite connected. Anyway, it's kind of funny.
Wow.
So yeah,
I love that. I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow,
So
that's incredible that you were skiing
yeah,
blindfolded. That's
and having
amazing.
having that
Yeah.
experience, yeah, it's kind of yeah, good. Anyway, let's have
Let,
this experience.
let's have this experience. Okay,
Let's
so
do
let's get into
this.
this zone. Because what you're
Let's get into
describing
this
is
zone.
getting into the zone of
Yeah,
oneness.
that's it.
And so let's get into
Connection.
this zone. Mm.
Lots of beautiful visions today. Beautiful.
Oh, lovely. So what Marcus is doing right now is connecting to a high dimensional being called Ameed that he channels. Ameed comes from another planet, an advanced planet, and we have this beautiful discussion with Ameed when she comes through.
There's much of the joyness that we are being of this of the moment. This is what we would be of the calling much of the sacredness of the moment. And we are saying that you are not playing much of the sacred moment. We are wishing for you to be more in of the sacredness of each of the moments that is being in of the existence. And we were being of the hearing that your channel was talking about of the sacred moment of the experience with his of the activity. And this is a moment of a good of the remembering to be in of the sacredness of each of the moments. And this of the communication of Miss Eleni is much of a sacred moment.
Thank you, Ameed. So did I hear you correctly that you said that we are not being of the sacred moment for a lot of the time and that we need to be? Is that what you said?
You are much of the forgetfulness that each of the moments are much of the sacredness. And I know you'd be thinking that some of the moments are being more of the sacred of the energetic quality than other of the moments. And you might be considering that this of the moment we are here of the togetherness is of a sacred nature. But you must be of the realizing that every of the moment is of a sacred nature. When you can be finding the sacredness in what you be considering not of the sacredness, then you are beginning to be of the expanded nature of your conscious reality. Then you are being able to step into the next dimension of the reality scape. So even when you are doing of the for of the example of the drivingness, you are in of a sacred moment. There is a reality where you are resonating with the sacredness of the moment, and your driving of the machine is also in of the sacred moment. And when you are coming together, you are creating of a sacred moment. But many of you be thinking, this is of the silliness, Ameed, this is doesn't make of the sense that you are talking about a sacred moment of the driving of the car, driving of the auto car, because this is just of the mundaneness. But when you are bringing of the sacredness to the of the mundaneness, then there is a much of the specialness of the expansion and of the conscious awareness. Then much of the magic will be of the happening.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. What you're saying is that, sometimes we just see certain moments as sacred, like meditating, or if we're by the ocean, or if we're in nature. But in fact, every moment is sacred. Every single moment, no matter how mundane it appears to be, every moment is sacred. And we need to remember that.
This is much of the reality scape. You are throwing away of the moments. You are not being in of the full participation with each of the moments of your experience. When you are considering that each of the moments are much of the sacredness, then you are beginning to meet of the moment and beginning to be of the participation with the magic that is being created in each of the moments. There is so much that is being of the going on that you are not seeing. You are being of the distraction and being of the ignoring and being of the what is of the word is of the flippednesses of the you are pushing it away. When you are not being in of the honoring of the sacred moment, it is like you are just pushing it away. And you are saying this is not of a sacred moment. This is of the mundaneness of the moment. So this is not of a special moment. This is just a moment. And you are not even thinking of the moment. You are just being in of another existence, in of another world. You are not being of the connected space. You are not being of the awareness space. You are being much in of the distracted space. And this is where you might be of the thinking of other things. You might be living much in of the past nature or of the future nature. And you are existing beyond this of the now of the moment and of the next moment and of the past moment. You might be of the remembering. We have spoken of this in of the past, in of the beforeness, where we are talking about there are only three of the moments that you need to be much of the awareness of. There is of the now moment, there is of the past moment, and there is of the next moment. When you start to begin to move past these moments, you begin to disconnect from the sacredness of the moment. For in of the sacredness of the moment, there are only three what you might be considering times that are existing. There is of the nowness, there is of the nextness, and there is of the pastness. There is a past moment, a next moment, and a now moment. These moments are intertwined together, that they would, being of the feeling like they are of the sameness for you, but they are a consciousness connected experience of these, of the intertwinement of the moments. You could be looking at this as if it was of the figure of the 8, of the infinityness of the symbol, and the infinityness is the collection of what you consider these of the three moments, and this is where of the sacredness is of the existing.
Oh, beautiful. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Ameed, about this discussion?
This is one of the ways that you might be of the practicality of being in of this space is the breathing into this of the space, is to being like of the relaxing into this of the space, to not be much in of the rushingness, not that you are very much often trying to make of the next moment to be coming in of the now moment much of the quickerness. You are trying to make of the timeline run much of the faster. And you are thinking to yourself, and we are hearing you, that you are saying, oh wow, does not time go much, much quicker now? Things seem to be going so much of the fastness. But in of the reality, you've been creating this. You are desperately trying to be of the grabbing of the next moment, and some of you are trying to run away from of the past moment. So therefore you are, like you are scaling up of the mountain. You are trying desperately to get to of the top of the mountain. You are trying not to look backwards, because behind you is much of the scariness. It is a long way to be of the falling. And you are desperately trying to get of the upperness. But what you are doing is you are missing of the view that is happening from where you are in this position on the climbing of the mountain. You are missing every magical of the momentness that is happening as you are being in of this state. This is what you are missing. So you can be practically what you might consider dropping into or breathing into this space, being of the letting go of trying to be further up of the future space, trying desperately to grabbing of the future and trying to make it to come here much, much faster. Many of you are wishing for this to happen. But what you must be considering and must be understanding, everything is happening in of this now moment. Everything is revolving around this infinity space of the next moment, the past moment, and the now moment. Not beyond these spaces, not beyond in the past state, not beyond in of the future state, but here in this of the moment. And in this of the moment, rather than you trying to go out and to be trying to go out and to be grabbing of the future of the state, you can be sitting in of this space and calling all of the things that you are wishing to have of the materialization into this space. And this is much of the message we have been of the talking about in the beforeness and in the pastness, but we wish to be sharing this once again from a more of a practical nature. If you can be sitting in of this space, if you can be hearing of the now moment, if you can be commanding in of the next moment, and remembering the now moment, next moment, and past moment are all interacting in the same time and of the space, there is no difference or distance between them. You can be sitting in this space and you can be calling in of the now, of the next moment. What do you want to be of the experiencing in of the next moment? That will then be of the commanding of the future timeline space, to be calling in all of the aspects that you are wishing to be in of the experience now, in of this space, in of the magic space. And then you will be experiencing what you be calling of the magic. We'd be calling this of the normalness. We'd be calling this of the mundane. This magic is of the mundane to us. But to you, this is of the magic. If you could be sitting in of the one space and calling in the materialization and manifestation of all of the things that you are wishing, and those things would be coming to you rather than you be trying desperately to be going to them, you would be thinking, this is of the magic, Ameed. This is much of the magic. But this to us is of the mundane. So what we are wishing for you is you change of the mundane. You switch of the mundane, so that the magic is the thing that becoming of the mundane, not of the driving of the car, not of the other activities that you are doing that you are thinking of the mundane, but that of the magic becomes that when you realize that in of each of these moments is of the magic. And magic can be of the happening. This is much of the excitement.
Okay, I've got what you're saying. So you are absolutely right. At the moment in my life, time is flying. It's the weekend, or it feels like every couple of days. And I don't know where the time is going. And you are right. It's because I am wishing time to go quickly, because I'm feeling there are things happening in the horizon. But what you are saying is, rather than run towards the horizon, bring the horizon to me.
This is much of the truthness. It is being like, Miss Eleni, like when you are going on the walking on the beachness and you are looking at the sun and you are sitting there going, isn't this of the beautifulness? This is of the yumminess. This is of the magicness. In that moment, what we would be asking you of the doing, or inviting you to be of the doing, is whatever that thing is that you are saying is on the horizon. You be sitting in of this space and being of the imagining that it is here in this of the moment, and that the energetic quality of that, or the resonant frequency of that thing that is on the horizon, you'd be placing in of the next moment. So you'd be sitting in of the now moment, looking at of the sunset on of the beach, and you'd be going, this is much of the yumminess, Ameed. This is what I'd be of the loving. And then you'd be thinking, okay, in of the next moment, what do I wish to be of the experiencing? Then you command the horizonness to be coming into that next moment. Firstly, by commanding of the feelingness of what that would be of the likingness. If you were on the horizon, you'd be sitting in of the feelingness. Then from the feelingness, you can start to create of the resonant frequency. That resonant frequency then be creating a geometric pattern. So then you can see of the spherical nature of the geometric pattern of that object. Then you can be imagining the object of itself being there, right there in this of the moment in front of you. This then becomes of the circular nature of the feelingness, of the vibrationness, of the resonant frequency, of the geometric spherical nature of it, then the imagination of the reality of it being there in this moment.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've got it. And I understand the message that was transmitted today. I am so grateful, Ameed. Thank you.
Then what you will be of the finding, this becomes then a self-generating mechanism. As you be sitting in this space, what you will find is that you will be receiving much of the momentum without being in of the movement of the momentum. You do not need to be in of the movement and of what you are often being of the doing, which is the rushy, the quickie, the faster. You can be therein of the watching of the sun and command this to be of the appearance in the next of the moment. Then what you will find is this becomes of the self-generating. There becomes a resonant frequency of self-generation where more and more things will be presenting in of the next moment without you having to be moving or being of the doing of the anything. Momentum, this is one thing we wish to you be understanding. Momentum is not about of the movement. You are thinking that if I get of the moving and I being of the doing lots and lots of the stuffness, I will get more of the momentum. But this is not of the truth. This is much like of the space and time that the scientists have been talking about, thinking that space and time are connected. Space and time are not of the connected. This is like momentum and action and of the movement. These are not of connected. Momentum, or much of the energetic quality of this concept of momentum happens when you are in of the stillness. You are thinking that you have to be of the moving to have of the momentum, but this is not of the case. When you are looking at the circular nature of this activity that we have been just of the sharing with you, where you have of the now moment, the next moment, the past moment, once you are engaging with, once you are activating this opportunity, you will see that momentum starts to build without you having to be of the momentum. This is an energetic quality of existence. This is a resonant frequency of existence. This is exactly how of the universe is of the operation. This is what is happening.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Ameed.
Much love. We are always much of the excitement to be of the sharing. Always of the excitement. And we are sending much of the love. Much of the joy. Much love. Hello there. Whew. She seemed talkative today.
Lovely.
Wow.
I wanted to talk more with her, but I know that you have a time limit.
Sometimes she's very talkative, isn't she?
I wanted to have that conversation more, but I know that you've got a time limit.
Yeah,
but,
we can continue that next time, maybe. You could ask the question again.
Yeah,
that's the topic.
Well, it was great. She was right. She was spot on in terms of me not even saying anything, but her saying that we can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're saying that time is going very fast, and that's because you're making it go fast. It's exactly like the time is like speeding up so much at the moment that the days are just finishing very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And she said it's because we're actually wanting that to happen as opposed to just really feeling the sacredness of the current present moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think we do tend to rush ourselves, don't we? We just tend to get caught in that rush. I know I do. I often get caught in that rush. And I think we can get lost in that.
Can you imagine a time when there's no time? In other words, like there is no feeling that this is 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock?
I know. Yeah. There's kind of an interesting thing, and I was listening to a podcast the other day about sort of this, the concept of time and living in a more dimensional timescape where linear time doesn't exist. And in that space and the quantum physicists are sort of talking about this, that you can sort of manipulate time. So potentially what she was saying, quantum physicists are playing with that sort of concept. And in an expanded dimension of reality, and maybe where someone like Ameed lives, who lives in another dimension to us, right, a more expanded dimension to us, time is way more malleable. It can be bent and moved, and everyone can do that separately. So we can all have a different relationship to time depending on our consciousness. And so I think Ameed, a lot of what she talks about is helping us to expand our consciousness and start living in a different, more expanded reality. And I know a lot of the off-world friends are waiting for us to reach that state where they can actually come back and meet us again. she's talked to me quite a bit about that. It's sort of interesting because they've visited us twice before. Once in Egypt, once when we detonated a nuclear bomb, and now they're sort of circling again. And the readiness is, so when they visited in Egypt, it was because the consciousness had reached a certain level, right? We think, a lot of archaeologists and stuff think Egypt was pretty primitive, right? But we know at some level they were far from primitive. They had an incredible conscious connection to the universe, right? And even if they built the pyramids by some miracle, I've got another view on it, but even if they did, they aligned everything with the stars. So they were very connected to the universe. And that allowed the beautiful off-world friends to come visit and help. Then we went in the fall, we lost our conscious connection to sacredness, to blah, blah, whatever, all that stuff. And so then when they detonated the nuclear bomb, they came back to protect us. And now they're wanting to come back, but they need us to raise our consciousness to meet us, or for us to meet them. It's too dangerous not to. And Eric, I think it's Eric Weinstein, I don't think he's a physicist, he's a geometry guy. He was saying it's a bit like we're sort of like the North Sentinel Island. Do you know North Sentinel Island? So North Sentinel Island's just off India, and it has a race called the Sentinelese, and they've never been contacted by Western society. So they're original race, and India it's illegal to go to this island. You cannot go to the island. It's absolutely illegal to go to this island. And he was sort of saying, relating that to our off-world friends, that maybe there's a mandate to leave us alone, just let us do our own thing. But he said, it's a bit like if the North Sentinel people detonated an atomic bomb, you'd sort of look and go, we probably need to contact these people now. We need to help these people because they're doing crazy stuff they have no idea about. And if the North Sentinel people got a certain level of consciousness, they'd want to contact us. They'd leave the island, they'd come and visit, we'd all have a chat, and do you know what I mean? And so we're a little bit like that. And if you go to the North Sentinel Island now, because of their consciousness, you get killed. There was a reporter that snuck onto the island, and he was killed by the North Sentinelese because they thought he was weird. They'd never seen a white person. They killed him. And it's a bit like if, with the consciousness we've had, if aliens landed, what would we do? We'd try and kill them.
Oh, there'd be massive fear.
Totally, but that's it. There'd be massive fear. And so, anyway, it's a bit of a long story, but that's what they're wanting us to do, is to expand into this consciousness.
Yeah, so they're eager for us to expand in this higher consciousness, and we start by honoring the moment that we're in, rather than wanting another moment.
Totally, absolutely. That's exactly it. That's part of it. So, yay.
Thank you for this beautiful transmission.
Yay, thank you.
I love how she always knows what's going on in my life. She's always got her finger on the pulse.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She always says exactly what is appropriate, and I'm sure for anybody listening, it's appropriate for you. Are you waiting for time to quickly go past? Are you waiting for the next thing instead of just bringing the next thing to you by honoring the moment?
Yeah, totally. The sacredness, eh? So, beautiful. Yay! Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Everyone.
See you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.